Good afternoon. A little bit late. Apologies for that. Well, I think it's going to become a bit more of a regular thing where we're starting a little bit later actually. Just going to go through our usual checks as well. Just check
which of these you want to do, Dave, to send off?
2 seconds. Thomas Woodcarver's asked me a question. You decide. Yeah, you choose.
That's the one it's got that on the back.
Yeah. You decide with it. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, so as you can see, we've got a project ready to go, and we're concentrating with this one. Technique we've demonstrated on a few separate occasions then, and it's what we refer to as line art. So we've drawn out all of the cuts that we need to do, and we're going to proceed and demonstrate how you can use the scroll saw to create this line art effect. We've got, at the moment, I think we've got in there, it's a Nick Speed number 9 blade. If it does go and break on me, then I've got it ready to put one of those blades I was using last week on. Hello Aubrey, thank you for joining us. So yeah, we've got Thomas Woodcarver working in the background as well, as you can hear, so he's in and around us. We're gonna just start cutting out all of these lines, and hopefully I'll get this finished. There's quite a bit of cutting on this one though, but if not, you should start to see it all taking shape. So as always, thanks for joining us. Any questions as we're going along, anything you want to know about, yeah, feel free to let us know, and hopefully we'll be able to answer. Let's start cutting. say good afternoon to everyone?
Oh, good afternoon, everyone.
There we are. Who else has joined us there? Rustic Woody, good afternoon. From a windy Norfolk. It's been a bit of a windy West Wales here too. Now, as you can see, we're starting, and good afternoon to everyone. We're just starting to cut out. Oh, the carver's joined us too. Hello there. Hope you've all checked out his latest upload as well. That was last Friday. And yeah, well worth having a look at that one. Get across to there if you like the Vikings, if you want to see a bit of a what we would call a Viking longboat carving. Nice demonstration, nice little explanation as well. So yeah, check that one out. Right, we're just working on the steam so far coming out of our steam engine. A couple of little things that just worth mentioning. Mentioned them a few occasions before, but firstly, what I do is I try to conceal the holes that I drilled out, and the way I do that is to try and have those holes at joints and also make that hole a little bit wider, a bit thicker. Yeah, just trying to conceal it in a few different ways. I'm wondering actually, there is are those number 12 blades there? You know the number 12 ones? The reason I'm thinking I'm going to try a number 12 blade on this is because they're a bit bigger and they're a bit thicker.
Right.
And I actually think in this case, for some of the cutting, they may prove
What's
useful.
that one there, look?
Is that the number 12?
What's that?
No, that's the number. They're the number 9. They're these Pebeco ones, and they're really nice blades. I got them there ready just in case. In and around the other scroll saw. But that's what I'm going to do first of all, is to just cut out that smoke there. These projects as well, really good fun to do, but I always think unless you're going to stack cut, which we are, we got 3 layers that we've stacked. And if you are, it's great if you're doing it as a hobby, as an interest, but if you're going to do it, brilliant, that's great. I'm just going to check them and see what I think. No, they're not wider, are they? They're wider in thickness. They're not actually wider in the width of the blades. So I'm going to carry on with this one. Yeah, these projects, I always think the only way we can justify doing them is by stacking them, because there's so much cutting out and time involved in that aspect of it that otherwise it's a bit sort of impossible to do. Hello there. We got hello Jeanette. Good afternoon from sunny. Can I say this right? Appledore. I probably said that horribly, but hello to you. Thank you for joining us. A nice subject. Yeah, absolutely. And it's something different. That's what we're always trying to do. And we've got good afternoon from Anthony from Gateshead. Well, thank you all for joining us. Any questions as well as we go along? Any thoughts as well? Share them with everyone. Great to have you all with us, and hopefully it'll be interesting. In terms of as well with the start time, because the workshop's starting to get a bit busier, we're probably going to be starting a little bit later going forward, because it just seems that it's clashing a little bit now with people coming in. So we'll have a little look at that and see if it works out better. I hope that'll work in for everybody else. But yeah, thanks for joining us, and let's get cutting again.
Have to bring an unpleasant subject up, Dave.
What's that?
I have to bring an unpleasant subject up.
Okie doke. What's the unpleasant subject?
Pricing.
Ah, yeah. Pricing indeed.
I wonder how people are finding.
Yeah, well, we put it to everyone. How are you all getting on when it comes to pricing? Sawyer Rob said, start later. Does that mean I can have a lie-in?
Sorry,
Right,
it's the other way round. You've got to start earlier.
Son?
Or start later.
We're gonna start-
Not even for the pricing.
No. We're talking about with the live stream. Sorry, yeah, we're at cross purposes. Yeah, pricing. Well, we haven't changed prices ourselves for quite a while now. But the problem is that everything keeps getting more expensive, doesn't it? So you've started the conversation and now you're saying you're not saying anything.
Well, I'm sort of interested,
Well, basically, we put it to everyone.
What you're doing there is stack cutting, so you are trying to.
Oh yeah, we're trying to keep the cost down all the time for everyone.
Keep the cost down, but.
Well, no, we put it to everyone. How are you getting on with pricing? Because it's challenging at the moment, isn't it? Because
It's extremely challenging.
we're having to, we're trying to make a living, and it's more and more difficult because everything keeps getting more expensive, and it's challenging to say the least. And before I go back to cutting, one thing you may notice as well is this blower. This is something, it's such an important, innocuous looking thing. I tell you what I'm going to do actually, I'll demonstrate a bit of cutting without it, because you may have seen I stopped the machine and turned it round, and that's because the dust was interfering with the cutting that I was doing. But that blower is such a useful thing for keeping your line of sight clear. So it's always worth, checking on your machine that the blower is working as it should do.
Jonathan looks here and he said, why not use a silent hoover instead? It's a very easy thing to do.
Oh, we got a question there, have we? Why not use a...
No.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of different... They're really easy thing to do. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the dust extraction, yeah, you can connect these up like we got a trend extractor there that is like a hoover. You can connect it up to that if you want to. You can connect it up to the different extractors. Yeah, they do a job for ourselves though. It's one of those things where we've always used dust extractor in the machine shop, but when I'm working on this scroll saw demonstrating, for me, I got the mask on and I've got to wear the mask or goggles at least to protect the eyes. And because it is pumping out quite a lot of dust, I'm happy having the mask on and doing it like that. But yeah, as you said, you can use a hoover or dust extractor connected up to the machine. Some have it where the dust extractor comes on automatically as well. When you turn the machine on, you can rig up all sorts of different things. But yeah, whatever you're comfortable with. Personally, this suits the way we do it. But there's no sort of right or wrong. However suits you best. So you can start to see it taking shape there. Oh, we got Chris. Hello there. Shamai. Isn't it windy out? Yeah, spot on. Definitely is. Yeah. Any updates with the scroll saws? Chris is in the process of looking at different scroll saws and things like that. And it's good. It's good. I'm glad you joined us because I can speak about it. The picture of what you sent to us. If you could sort out getting hold of that scroll saw, that's a good buy. That was a good machine you were showing. It was a Hegner, and it's a similar Hegner to what the Carver had bought last year, and it's a good machine. Should do you a good job. In terms of as well, you were talking about the quick releases. It's a slightly different one. It's a slightly different setup in terms of it being held in position. However, it's exactly the same quick release. So I hope you got the attachment in the email I sent you in terms of where you can buy one of the quick release ones for doing the pierce work in the same way that we do. As you can see, this is starting to take shape. Line art project, fantastic fun. Really enjoy doing these. Great to see them taking shape.
I've got to come back to the money, Dave.
Thomas the woodcarver's back for his thoughts. Something's in his mind in terms of this money.
Dave. Sorry to be.
Yeah.
Where are we? Anybody?
The carver was the only one who commented on that one in terms of saying about, yeah, it's always a difficult thing. Absolutely.
Right. Well, this is good. Is going to. I'll take that out of your way.
Yeah. I hope we didn't get that in shot.
Don't know. I'm gonna put. Where's that star bond gone again?
There we are.
Let me get the bond.
Well, I tell you what, I carry on doing a bit of cutting.
Okay.
Well, Thomas the woodcarver gets himself sorted.
What's there? You've got different ones.
Two seconds, I just finished this cut.
Okay.
And the last. Fire away.
Well, it's only it's a tip for the week, tip for the month.
Here we go.
There's your Starbond stuff.
Yeah, the Starbond super
And,
glue.
and if you just show what you've done with that one,
Yeah, well, basically,
it's a,
we just had to.
you take a chance. I took a chance. I think it's B&Q.
B&Q,
It was a cheaper
who
option.
we haven't got an affiliate with,
No,
and they had a brush, and it looks like a decent brush to be honest with you. But
those are the ones we've been using. Okay.
these are the brushes we use for schlacking.
Only they had this one on the bottom shelf, so it was a cheaper brush.
Yeah,
And strangely
happened?
enough, the bristles are fine.
I would say the bristles. This is a more expensive brush, and it's a nightmare.
Yeah,
The bristles fall out all the time.
yeah,
Useless.
yeah. And you can see this one here.
That one's been
a lot of
used
use.
for years and years
But
and years.
this one
And
was a
one,
cheaper one.
and it fell
And of course,
apart.
this fell apart.
So we super glued it back together.
Super glued it.
Yeah, stuck it back together.
So
but
hopefully,
but I've got to say the bristles look a lot better on that one.
yeah.
You know, the only thing you're going to have to watch, because there's only one thing that I didn't realise with Starbond. The only thing you're going to have to watch is that you don't get that bit into the
Yeah, I
liquid,
won't. It'll only
because
be
that's
the
the only
bottom
thing
bit.
with
Yeah,
Starbond is
yeah.
I did find out
Yeah.
that it isn't actually waterproof. But other than
you know,
that,
but
brilliant,
if that works,
brilliant super glue.
we've got a decent brush there now
Yeah,
that we can use, because
and we haven't spent as much.
I'm sorry to be harping on about the financial situation, but it really is. You have to start thinking about how you can
Survive.
or you just put your prices up.
Yeah. But it's all about survival, is the thing. How to survive best. Right, that's not the one we're going to cut next. We're going to cut this one down here. What one is that one then? Oh, it's that one. Sorry, that's the next one I'm working on. So, yeah, as you can see, it's starting to take shape. What we're explaining with doing stuff like this, doing what we refer to as a line art piece, the only way you can sort of do this and it still can be profitable is if you're cutting out 3 stacks as we are at a time. Unless you are stack cutting with something like this, it's difficult to unless you're doing it as a hobby and to enjoy it, difficult to make anything because there's so much cutting involved. Right, as I'm cutting here, basically I am noticing a few little problems on the bottom layer that we'll have to have address later on. What it is as those holes have been drilled, just that drill bit has drifted a little bit, but we'll see how we get on. We'll see if we can correct them afterwards. If not, we've got those 2 top layers, but hopefully we will be able to sort out that 3rd layer as well. So we're going to continue coming across here. It's starting to take shape, and it is coming together quite nicely so far. Did I hear you say in the previous video that you had beeswax wax your shellac finish, or is it just for the final coat? Right, I recall they did their brushing. What? Yeah, you got it. The final coat over the shellac, beeswax with linseed oil. Spot on. Yeah, what we do, we mix beeswax and linseed oil. The reason that we put liquid in with our beeswax is it's too thick. Like, for instance, on a piece like this, it would get clogged in all of the details. So to prevent that from happening, we just make it a bit more liquid by putting some oil into the beeswax. So yeah, that's a method that we use. 3 coats of shellac sanding sealer. That seals the piece, and it also brings it up with a nice finish. But just to add an extra dimension, just an extra layer on the top, can be quite nice too. That makes sense. Thanks, that makes sense. No, you're welcome. Give it a go. See if it works for you. We've all got sort of different preferences when it comes to the finishing, but yeah, it's always worked quite nicely for us. Okay, so it's starting to really take shape there. I can start to see how it's coming out. I really do enjoy projects like this where you start to see all those little bits of detail coming together, and you start to create a little bit of an image of, in this case, that train. So yeah, we as we come further along, you start to see all those lines coming together and creating something. Right, what are your thoughts on using stabilised wood? Is it bad for the blades or scroll saw? And have you used it before? I know, I mean, this is something the carver actually did with some wood that we sent. The truth of it is we're buying blades by the gross, aren't we? So we use them and they do their job. And once the blade is beyond, its use, we change the blade. We don't tend to worry too much about blades, do we?
No.
So yeah, if it's something that you're thinking of having a go, give it a go. See how you get on with it. I wouldn't worry too much about it. The beauty of the scroll saw is that it is so versatile. It can do so many different things. It can cut so many different materials. Yeah, go for it. Just give it a go. And in terms of the blade, that would be the last thing I would worry about in terms of not using something. I would just give it a go. Try it, see what you feel about it. But for ourselves, the scroll saw, I always think is a really good value piece of equipment, and scroll saw blades, again, are really good value. What we can get out of a scroll saw blade is just incredible for what you're paying. We just recently, I think, spent £100 on blades.
Yeah.
And out of that, I mean, that's £100 investment.
And we were panicking a bit because we weren't sure whether we were going to be able to get them again.
Well, this is the problem, isn't it? Because of because of all the political nonsense with Brexit and all that sort of thing, we spent £100. Normally, we wouldn't spend out like that. We bought 288 Nickworth Speed number 9 reverse tooth blades. We bought 12 of the number 12s to give it a go, and we bought a packet of these 12 Pebecca ones, and I'll probably be ordering some more of those because I really enjoyed working with them. Impact on blade is minimal with stabilised woods, is what the carver has said. And Herb Scrolling Station says, hi folks. Hello Herb, thanks for joining us. Thank you everyone for joining us. Great to have you with us. And thank you as well for thanks for your contributions, because it certainly keeps things moving along, and it's great to have any thoughts that anybody else has. Like for instance, the question there on stabilised wood. I'm sure you're not the only one who's got thoughts on that. I know, as I said, the carver used some, and it has minimal impact. Right, let's carry on. Let's keep bringing out these bits of detail. We keep knocking off each of these gaps now, so we're getting closer and closer. I would say we're at least, we must be halfway through now. It seems like it's the smaller detail and the longer lines that we've got left to do. So let's keep scrolling. Right, so you may notice that I keep turning the machine off mid-cut when I turn it round. It's just because I'm reducing the risk of making a mistake and catching and sort of creating more work for myself, basically. So that's why I keep doing it. Another thought as well, if you've never done one of these projects before, it's great. Have a go. This is one of the things I really enjoy doing myself on the scroll saw. It's basically, how can you get into doing something like this? Right, get an image. You know, it can be one of your own photos. It can be anything. It can be an image. You can get these. We've got some of these designs on our website as free templates, and you can find that in the description of a lot of our videos. Or get something off Shutterstock or Google or anything like that. Get an image and then print off the image, get another piece of paper, use a light box, and just decide what bits you're going to leave in, what bits you're going to take out, and then create that line art image using that method, because it's really good, it's fun, and it's creative. I can see Michael's joined us. Hello, Michael. Thanks for joining us as well. Lisa, thanks for the info. No, you're welcome. Go for it. I would. I do a little actual fretwork as possible. I don't mind normal interior cuts. I mean, this is what we do. I like doing all sorts of different styles, but this is one that I really do enjoy, is line art and creating an image. And I do think it's quite effective. I've done swans. What else have I done? I've done doves. I've done, different birds, different animals, all sorts of different surrounds of things. It's great. I would recommend having a go at it as something different in your woodworking. Right, we will continue now. We're going to do the rest of the smaller detail, and then we're going to concentrate on finishing off by doing these bigger lines. Right. So, always a way, isn't it? I checked and double checked and triple checked with this that I had done all of the lines, that I'd done all my pierce work holes, and I have missed one just there. There's always one that you miss. Amazing, isn't it? What do we got? Mr. C, have you seen the Seiko scroll saw drill? I have one, and they work great. Excuse me. They use up to 8 bits. So is that on the same thing? So you got them on the two things on the one machine? Interesting idea. I see there's all sorts of different combinations you'll see with the different kit. Sounds a good idea though. Always, yeah, and it's always worth trying all the different kits. We're well on with this one now. One thing I was going to highlight is how I try my best to sort of conceal the drill holes. I can see I missed a bit there, but you just do your best to try and incorporate them into what you're doing, incorporate them into that design. But yeah, so far so good. It's taking shape. That's the main thing. We got these two little bits of detail on the front of our train, and then I think we're on to the larger cuts. Hopefully it should take shape. What I'm thinking of doing is on this line to come down there as well, possibly, or on that one to go down there as well. I'll have a think about it, but I can incorporate that onto one of the other lines to sort of finish it off. Right, let's carry on cutting. If you're wondering, that's Thomas the Woodcarver in his Technicoloured coat.
It just shows how happy I am, you see.
He's actually wearing a very appropriate coat for this demonstration because it's a British Rail jacket. When did British Rail last exist?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
The jacket itself is older though, because it's my Grantley's jacket, and probably
It could be Uncle Mass.
Oh, it could be Uncle Mass, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, it could be Uncle Mass. So it could be a little bit newer than I actually thought.
This could be the coat mine that Sparky was wearing on that runaway train.
Yeah, you never know. So that pretty much does the finer detail. The first thing I'm going to try and do is to deal with that cut that I'm a bit concerned about. I know what I can do. Yeah, so I'm going to deal with that one there first, and then it's enjoying doing those other cuts, those longer cuts, to see everything start coming together. They're intense. The carver just playing with dye without it being too busy. Looks great. Thank you. At the end of this, I'll do a count up and see how many cuts it is altogether.
I got a question for you in a minute, is that?
Question for me.
Right.
Here's my question for Thomas the Woodcarver, first of all. Why have you turned that plate round in there?
Sorry?
Why have you turned that plate round in there?
I didn't know I had turned it on.
Ah, right. Okay, that's okay. Because I've solved my own problem because I couldn't get it back out. But there we are. Because I normally have it like that. I just wondered if there was a reason you turned it round.
Nope, not guilty.
There we are. Not Thomas the Woodcarver. Somebody
I
else.
may have turned it around, goodness knows, Dave. I'm getting old now, I can't remember half the time.
But I was going to say, it's starting to take shape. It's good fun doing these projects, you know.
The runaway train came over the hill and she blew.
Oh, there's been a conversation here. Is this a conversation? Not sure whether no, they're talking about the machine. That's okay. No problem at all. It's I'm just checking just in case I'd missed anything, but no, we haven't. Talking about the Seiko, I think you pronounce it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, but this is taking shape, and I'm not sure if I explained, but you'll notice me turning the machine on and off. That's just a safety measure when it comes to creating this particular piece, especially at this stage now, because we're well on. We don't want to make a mistake and end up with absolutely nothing. What I'm just doing off camera is just picking out little stray bits of wood, and that's another thing. If you're learning scroll sawing, always be checking on the scroll saw bed for stray bits of wood and little bits left over, because if they end up underneath what you're cutting out, they can ruin a piece if you don't see them and don't get them out of your way. Right, let's continue getting these lines sorted out. I think either our pillar drill needs squaring up a bit, or the scroll saw needs a little bit of squaring. I think it's the pillar drill, to be honest, who needs a bit of squaring up a bit.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it may be that drill bit's a bit worn and it needs sharpening,
So it drills straight. The bottom layer may be a bit of a write-off, but there we are.
good example as well with this. If you basically, when you're doing projects like this, if you just try and stick too rigidly to the line, it can be difficult because it's really difficult to be absolutely precise with some of the drill holes. And if you're too sort of reliant on being right on it, sometimes you just need to improvise a little bit. Definitely with these projects, there's a strong element where if you can improvise a little bit in your cutting, it's a big advantage. And I think it's a necessity on one like this is just being able to improvise a little bit. Right, so how many cuts we got left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Into the final straight. Hopefully, I'm gonna steal that railway presenters. Hopefully we're not running out of steam.
you to sand this one down for me as well.
Okay. Oh boys.
Right, that's all the cutting. Now I'm going to give it to Thomas Woodcarver just to sand the face off of that piece, and yeah, we're well on. I mean, the bottom layer certainly needs some more attention and a bit of rescuing, but we'll look at where we are with things on that front. So I got another piece here. If I hand that on to Thomas Woodcarver, I'm just trying to get rid of, there's all those little, it's a normal thing, you get those little bits of wood. This is where, just to show you the method that I go through, I use an old scroll saw blade, a broken one, just to push into the gaps. And if there's any pieces of wood left over, it's a little method that I use just to push them all away. You sand that one off.
We want the
Paper, sand
take the
it
paper
off.
off.
Yeah. Take the paper off. There we are. And
What about shaping that there? You don't want to shape that. You don't want to shape anything.
should I do that first? Should I do the basic shape first? I thought it would be easier to sand with the three stuck together, and we're not 100% on how we're gonna where we're gonna proceed from there. Yeah. So I mean, that is basically line art. Now I got another simple one marked out here. I don't think I'm going to get a chance to cut that. But again, when you're doing these projects, it's the same as I always sort of suggest. Do all of your pierce work first of all. So do all of the internal cuts to start off before you go and do your surrounds. One thing you'd notice as well, and it's something I'm doing more of, I like a nice big layer on the bottom layer, so a large piece of wood on the bottom layer, because it gives me that flexibility to grip the bottom layer whilst I'm cutting the three layers. So I just like a larger piece. So this one here, I had the option of cutting this bottom layer a bit smaller, but I decided to keep it nice and big, so I got something that I can grip onto. How does it come up? There we are. So that is, yeah, I just knock him on the scroll saw a little bit, and even the bottom layer, there's a bit of work to sort it out, but it would still be usable. Hopefully that comes across. Again, what we'll have to do is to just get all of those little bits of paper that we've sanded away that have gone into the gaps, to spend a little bit of time getting all of them out of the gaps. We've now got 3 layers on that particular design that we can then turn into different items. What were the suggestions you had again for turning these into different items? You said a letter rack. That was one you mentioned, yeah?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, a letter rack. I thought possibly a larger fridge magnet, candle holder, all sorts of simple little items then that you can basically turn this into. Hopefully that's interesting. If you've got any questions, as always, let us know. Always a pleasure if we can help in some way. In terms of how we stack cut again, we use super glue, Starbond super glue, just little spots in the corner, and then,
Your idea is an example.
excuse me.
The stack cutting.
Yeah, so Thomas Woodcarver's, he's just in the process of doing it where he's sticking the layers
I'll give you these
together.
4 pieces. 1,
Ah, there we are.
2. They're all mahogany. I normally mix them up, but
You've got some Starbonds.
those there.
There we are. It's just to show you. All we would do. Yeah. We got the accelerant.
I'll go get it now.
There we are. So all we do, see, little dots of Starbond, just like so. Enough on there just to stick those layers together. And it's a really useful method, the stack cutting, just to make yourself that much more productive.
Okay.
This is actually my favourite of the Starbonds when it comes to the sticking the layers together, because it's the thick. I find that the thick Starbond super glue is really good. A little bit of accelerant. Stack that on there. It does kick off a little bit when it comes to the fumes, but does the job. There we are. So we're just stacking those 3 layers together, just a little bit of glue in each corner, stick them together, and away you go. So there we are, something different, using our line art to create that effect of the steam train. Hopefully it's interesting. We'll be back midweek with an upload, and we'll also be back.
And it will show the finished product, won't you, with that when it's
Next week.
all done.
Yeah, I'll take a photo of that and we put it up on. I can put it up as a social post. So yeah, we'll turn it into something, and then we'll show you the finished product. But that gives you an idea. That is the finished cuts. Thanks again. Hope you have a good week. And as always, we'll be back soon with more videos.